background on this particular document. In writing to Henry G. Alsberg, and please note the date, December 14th, 1937. She says, I have a matter of some interest. Some months ago, one of our county workers reported to me that she had discovered an ex-slave who had written his autobiography. This old Negro would not let anybody see his manuscript, nor would he let our worker as much as look at it. It was necessary for me to use my personal influence to get the possession of this work. This I did. I made a trip to Desert to contact a very unusual old Negro. I found him living in a shack, unfit for the habitation of a decent cat. There was not a pane of glass in the window nor a board in the door. These openings were covered with packings of pasteboard. His own iron bed was patched together with pieces of board secured by rope. The mattress he sleeps on is a collection of lumps, large as a waterway. I have been in the slums of New York and in sharecroppers' homes, but I have never seen a sad place or a human being to live in. I had written this man, his name is Charles B, but I was coming to see him. When I appeared, he cried out, Lord God Almighty, is you that lady that come? I told him I was the lady. I was shown a seat on the trunk, on the old trunk in the stove. He told me the trunk would not disappoint me. Sure enough, it held me up during a long and interesting visit. She said, I won't take time to tell you a lot of the other details, which, as she knows, I have been a book reviewer. And of course, she is the author of Money Down Prophecy, author of the Soul of Man Revelation, Soul of Abraham Lincoln, and a number of book reviews. Has quite a history. The first woman in Arkansas to be elected to who's who, and so forth. So she's quite a remarkable individual to say. Anyway, she says, I think the life story of this ex-slave that's told by himself is one of the most unusual human nature documents I know anything about. His story of 70,000 words is written on 5-cent tablets and small books and on large pages from an old ledger which was found in the dump. There is not a period nor a comma in any of the writings. On the other hand, capitals are used freely and everywhere. His spelling is largely phonetic. It was necessary in order to get the work in shape for the general reader to make a glossary. And yet, with all the primitive way of telling his story, he has the real stuff in it when it comes to human pathos and splendid philosophy. It has been the desire of this Negro to sell 200 copies of this book at 85 cents each. This would give him enough to buy a new bed and perhaps a few clothes. He has turned over this great treasure to me personally, and I hope that something can be done with the story so that he can at least have some of the comforts of his life before passing on. And she goes on to say, I will have to ask you how to proceed in getting publication for this unusual piece of work. So the bureaucrat is, of course, contacting the national office. Henry G. Alsberg was the national director of the Federal Writers Project. And as this was going on, there was work going on the autobiography itself. And I included, first of all, chronology, taking from internal evidence, doing calculations, comparing this, comparing that. This is as close as I can come to information about him. When he was born, he was married in 26. He was married for about 40 years, a little over 40 years to this born. His wife died in 1918, and his mother died in 1918. His son was born in 1882, as near as I can calculate, and died in 1908 at the age of 26, which was a great heartbreak of him. A major part of his story. He started healing at the age of 12. He had to get wrestler. I didn't get to that one in the list anyway. He had a big fight with the Mississippi bully that the National Collecting Writers Project was interested in publishing. I don't believe it was ever published. He cured babies in Adams County. There's LAVIS. He collected moss for beds and such. And when he was a farmer, he worked for him 50 acres. So he was very proud of the work that he had done. Now, as we think about his education, Charles Williams was very, very proud of his education. And his mother insisted that he could become educated. His mother, according to Charles Williams' autobiography, was an overseer in Mississippi and a slave doctor. I don't know much beyond that, but it's very clear that at one point she gathered up the books at the 6th grade level and took him to the teacher. She knew from the teacher what books he needed. He started, don't know what age he was when he started. We do know that he quit school, he decided not to go to high school because he wanted to get married to his algebra, which his mother did not agree with, but she lost, as mothers have a way of doing in situations like that. So he went on, he would have been, he was about the 10th, 11th, 12th grade level in his education. And I included the Charles Williams education part here because when I read that statement, that's how I learned to show it just struck me. He said, all a teacher can do, if I can summarize very quickly, all a teacher can do is give the student something to copy. And then the student has to work on that. But he said, I don't want to. So I tell him what I have to copy, and I do my own thing with it. And so he was saying that turned out to be the best for him, and that's how I learned to shovel pen. And so he learned how to shovel pen, and he shoved that pen on those pages that he found in those notebooks, and we have at least the typescript of the autobiography. I've given you in this next the chronology of some of the correspondence. There's a total of